Okay, the next ones I'm going to do with you, I'm going to do this questions on this literal equations. Do problems 11, 13, and 15 with you guys. So for number 11, again, we're looking to see what variable, what letter we're solving for. For number 11, they want us to solve for h. Okay, so we're looking to see what is happening to our h, right? We need it alone on one side. So I see everything combined, right? That's telling me that I see that they are multiplying, everything's combined. They multiplied a pi and an r squared, right? When everything's combined, it's like everything's being multiplied. So they multiplied by pi r squared. So what do we need to do? If they multiply, we need to divide out. And we're going to divide out by pi r squared. So what you do to one side, you have to do to another. Okay, so we're going to do pi r squared to both sides. On this side, the pi will cancel, the r squared will cancel. So you bring down your h is equal to, and v over pi r squared is just v over pi r squared, right? It can't be reduced, so that's your fraction. So again, we want to just write where our h is first. So our h is equal to v over pi r squared. And that's your answer. All right, the next one I'm doing is number 13. For number 13, they're wanting us to solve for L. Okay, so again, I need to get my L alone, but I notice the first thing my eyes are drawn to is I see this set of parentheses, right? Every time I see parentheses, I know I need to distribute. And what I distribute to one, I have to distribute to the other. Okay, so on this side, I'm left with 2 times L is 2L. 2 times W, positive 2W. Bring down my equal sign, I'm left with the P. Okay, so now I know that I'm solving for the L. So I'm seeing what happens to it. Okay, so we see what is happening to my L. I see that there's a 2 attached directly, so that means they multiplied by 2. Okay, and then I see that they added a 2W. So the first thing I'm going to do is handle the 2W. They added it. How do we get rid of it? We're going to subtract 2W. And if they multiplied by 2, we're going to divide by 2. Okay, so let's actually do that. On this side, the first thing I do is subtract 2W from both sides. Subtract 2W. On this side, it cancels. Bring down my 2L is equal to P minus 2W. Can those be combined? No, so I just bring down each one, bring down my negative 2W, bring down my positive P. All right, the last thing I need to do is divide out by 2. So I divide out by 2 on both sides. And remember, you divide out to everything on the other side. Okay, so this side it cancels. So my L is equal to, on this side, negative 2. Divided by 2 leaves us, negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1, negative 1W, and then P divided by 2, that can't be divided, so it just stays as is, P over 2. Okay, and that's what your L is equal to for number 13. The last one I'm doing is number 15. So 15 looked a lot like problem number 5 that you guys had to do yesterday. So you guys looked at this problem. I know a lot of you might have had some problems. You checked your answer but didn't really know how to get it. So I'm going to do number 15, and that should explain to you how we did number 5, and you can always go back and check it. So for number 15, we needed to solve for B. Okay, so again, I need to look at what's happening to my B. So I see that my B is being multiplied, right? There's no pluses, no minuses, no fraction signs, everything's together, right? So when everything's together like that, it's multiplication. So my B is being multiplied by 1/2 and also H, right, at the same time. So we're just going to take care of that at the same time. If it's being multiplied, we are going to divide by 1/2 and the H at the same time. So on this side, we divide out 1/2 H, And on this side, we divide out by 1/2 h. Okay, so the 1/2 divide out, the h's divide out, so all we're left with on this side, we bring down my b is equal to, now this time you're going to be noticed that you're left with a divided by 1/2 over h. Okay, and this shouldn't really look great, right? Every time you have division, guys, you are looking to divide. A fraction is division, and a lot of you see that and freak out because it's a fraction. Okay, every time you have a fraction, you want to divide it out. See if it reduces, see if it divides out. So we need to divide this out. Do we see a number here that we can divide out? No, right? Could there be a number? Could there be, remember, every time there's no number, we see that it's always the invisible 1. So I want to divide 1 divided by 1/2. Let's see what that gives us. We always want to try to reduce our fraction, guys. So I go to my calculator. I go here, I do 1 divided by, my fraction was 1/2. What does that give me? A 2. Okay, so my answer should be, this cancels out. What doesn't cancel out? It divides out and gives you 2a over h. Stays the same, right? And that's what your b is equal to. So that's your answer. Remember, every time you have a fraction, you want to reduce it, divide it out, see what it gives you. Okay, in this case, it gives us a 2. All right, if you have any questions, I will be here to help you. Just